So as a scientist, I am basically not an atheist, but maybe agnostic, and I do not believe in any traditional institutionalized religion. But I do find some writings in the Bible, for example, are very inspiring, and I do think that despite those arguments by people like Richard Dawkins about atheism in today's world, I do feel that there are many things that we can learn from religious writings and inspired from them. So today I discuss this wonderful passage from the Corinthians, and or rather the first episode to the Corinthians, and which was put to beautiful music by Handel in Messiah. Especially, in the part three of the Messiah, there's this passage that, there's an area and in which the singer declares, "In the moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed." And I heard that Handel, when he was working on the Messiah, was weeping when the part he was writing was moving, and I suspect I haven't really checked the documentations on records, but I do feel that this third part of Handel, this part based on the Corinthians, I think this might have been the part when Handel was weeping while composing, because the music here and the lyrics are so inspiring and moving. So this is of course related to the Last Judgment, and as a modern person, I do not take the Last Judgment literally. I do not believe that there would be a time in this physical space when there will be the last trumpet, and in the twinkling of an eye will be changed, and this wouldn't happen. But as a metaphor, it's a really beautiful metaphor, and um, the in the Messiah. Uh, the bus area goes, as I said, the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. And then there's this really beautiful passage where the bus sings, "For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this corruptible must put on, must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality, and this mortal must put on immortality, and so on, so on, so on. Excuse my inaccurate and really clumsy singing, but anyway, you get the general idea. Please refer to the original Handel recording if you like to, listen to what it's really like. But anyway, this part I find always inspiring and moving, and so I'm not saying that this description in the Bible would actually take place someday. This is just a metaphor, but it's a really beautiful metaphor. And we are mortal beings, and we are certainly going to die. And there's these scientists and technologists who say that we can gain immortal life by uploading the content information of the mind to some computer. There's mind uploading idea, or whole brain emulation. You can probably emulate or simulate the processing in the brain on a computer, and then we have, hey, presto, we will have digital immortal life. But these ideas seems to be so nonsense to me. I mean, probably this argument belongs to another episode of this my club's YouTube channel. But anyway, this whole idea that you can somehow uh, get the whole information from a living person's brain and transfer it to a computer and simulate it on in the digital sphere and gain immortal uh, life and consciousness. That is probably one of the most absurd idea around, and do not believe anything of it. But so that wouldn't happen. But for many reasons, including theoretical reasons and practical reasons. But this idea that we might uh, get incorruption and immortality through some magical process, of course, would never happen. But the fact that this kind of metaphor appeals to us and moves and inspires uh, does tell something really interesting about consciousness and the spirituality, because we are of course mortal beings and we are corruptible. We when we die, our body would rotten and decay and will be gradually become one with the great earth, and we won't be there anymore. But when we go about in our daily lives, and when we experience things phenomenologically, we do feel that as if we know what it is to be immortal or what it is to be incorruptible. This, if you like, Platonic world of concepts and ideologies and qualia, they do seems to be somehow immortal and without the temporal dimension and without change. So we do feel that we have access to the immortal, incorruptible dimensions of existence. Although that might be an illusion, for the brain, the distinction between reality and illusion is very fuzzy. So we, even if we, feel that there's some abstract, concrete existence out in the world, like this pen, this actually is a construction of the brain. I mean, this is an illusion. But compared to this pen, which is certainly corruptible and mortal, because you can discount decay, uh, the qualia, for example, the redness of red, or these concepts like truth, beauty, these things do appear in our mind to be without temporal limitations or bounds or changeability. So we do feel as if since we are mortal, we would certainly corrupt and decay in due time. We do feel that we know intuitively what it is like to be immortal and without temporal change. So this passage from the Corinthians capture that very intuition in a beautiful manner. So the fact that there are many other passages in the Bible which are really interesting, but this particular passage from the Corinthians, namely, behold, I tell you a mystery: we shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. And the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. This passage appeals to us stronger than other passages. So that's why Handel put such a beautiful music to this particular passage, because this is so poignant, this is so far-reaching, this is so inspiring, this is so deep. So the fact that out of all the writings in the Bible, this part has been selected, cherry-picked by the composer to put to a beautiful music is testify the fact that we probably know something about this deep connection between mortality and immortality, and being corruptible and being incorruptible. And by the way, really like this, word must. For the incorruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. There are many rich connotations and significant emotions involved in this word must. For this incorruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. It is not as if it's our duty to uh, put on incorruption or put on immortality. It is not something that would happen out of our free will. The beauty of this rig is that it is described as if it is something of a natural order. It is something that would happen spontaneously without our wishes, without probably even against our wishes, because some people might not want to be immortal or incorruptible. I mean, so this really strong verb must put on. This sentence is something that leaves a really strong impression on the mind, at least for me. And it is such a miracle that Handel put such music to this particular passage in the Bible, and the fact that we can still enjoy it today. So, as I said, even for an atheist or for an agnostic, I think there are many inspirations to be drawn from religious writings such as the Bible, even today.